Welcome back. All right, so something a little different today. Yeah, a little bit different. Not doing a WrestleMania review, not doing a Starrcade review, but it is still in the wrestling sphere. I had thought about maybe doing something on White Lotus. At some point, I'll talk about White Lotus. But I'm going to talk about a little bit of the wrestling for today and its current events. Here we are. So I wanted to give my opinion on this. The Evolution pay per view, which is the all women's pay per view, is returning this year. I think it's long overdue. I know WWE didn't have another one because the buy rate was low. I have no doubt in my mind the viewership for this is going to be low as well, but you've got to start somewhere. And apparently, Nikki Bella, there's rumors that she's coming back for this. She's talked about having a big announcement. She's refuted the idea she's coming back, but wrestlers never admit they're coming back when they are. I'd be fine with Nikki coming back. Honestly, I think it could be kind of fun for the women's division. I'll even go this far. I think with where women's wrestling has gone now, I think you could have a women's division and a divas division. I absolutely think you could. And I think that could work. The problem is you already have too many titles in the WWE as it is. So I'm aware of that. I just feel like there's more that could be done. I've always been surprised they never did just a women's only show. You'd have Raw, you'd have SmackDown, you'd have NXT, and then you'd have a show that's just totally just for the women's wrestlers. I think they have enough women's wrestlers. They can make it work, but there's only a certain amount of hours in any given day. Drew McIntyre is going to be out for a while. He's going to be out for a significant time. So he lost the cage match against Damian Priest, where clearly Priest is a heel again. It wasn't working with him as a face. Makes total sense to make him a heel. And Drew is just too personable. He just is. He's too personable. Last time I saw him live, he's supposed to be a heel. None of us were booing him. None of us. He had to pivot and say, I haven't been appreciated this much by fans, this kind of thing. And it's really nice to see fans understand my side of it. And we all cheered. And that was when he was ranting and raving about how stupid everything was. And we were like, yeah, everything's dumb. You're right. Yep, absolutely. So I'm glad that he's taking time off to heal. And hopefully when he comes back, give him a run with the belt. Come on, give him a run with the belt when there's fans in attendance. He had his run when there weren't fans in attendance, and it always feels like you kind of get ripped off when that's the case. Apparently, I snickered at this one. I knew I had to put this one on the board. WWE's considering asking fans not to swear during televised events. Good luck. And I say this as a wrestling fan dating back to the 80s. Like, wrestling fans curse. They do. And they get really into it. The people that go to these live shows that spend hundreds of dollars, they're the ones that may very well be more likely to get wrapped up in the action, whether they think it's predetermined or not, and maybe have a very vehement opinion about what they've seen in the ring, and they're far more likely to be kind of cursing about that opinion of what they see in the ring. Um, so we'll see how that goes if they try it. I don't think it's going to work. I think if you could just ask fans not to swear, I think the NHL would be doing it. Every league would be doing it, really, in all honesty. I could go through them all. Because there are certain chants that I'll hear during a game, and I'm like, good luck getting that out of the audio. The American feeds will try. The Canadian ones don't even try. They usually just kind of laugh it off. But we'll see if WWE decides to tell fans to watch their mouths. It's not going to go well. Adam Page. So I've talked about Hangman Page years back. I talked about Hangman Page, and I felt like he could be AEW's just tweener. He could be a really good champion. They've dropped the ball on that. If I had a dime for every wrestler they've kind of dropped the ball with, I'd be pretty well off. I wouldn't be making videos. I'd be off somewhere in Tahiti. But he gets a shot at Moxley at All In Texas, and apparently this is something that Will Ospreay was pushing for. So both Will Ospreay and Hangman Page went to bat for one another, and we're trying to say, look, the other guy deserves to go over because. And I love that. If that's true, I love that. I think that kind of cooperation backstage is great. When you don't have the egos and you have somebody saying, look, the other guy really deserves this, he deserves that shot, it makes it for the best. And apparently Moxley may very well have put in a good word for Page, which may be why Page went over. But apparently that decision was made during the weekend as we were getting ready for Double or Nothing. So I think Page could be the guy to knock off Moxley. I just feel like Ospreay is going to be the one that actually does it. So maybe Page wins it, goes back and challenges Ospreay. Although as I think about it, I'm thinking, there's no way the Death Riders are just going to lose the belt and then stop. So It would leave Paige fighting with the Death Riders for probably at least a month and a half. But I do hope they get the belt off Moxley. It has definitely caused me to watch a lot less of AEW's programming. Just I don't find him interesting. It's one of those things where it's not like I don't hate or love certain. It's just I'm indifferent. Indifference is far worse than hate. At least if you're booing and having a reaction, that's something that they can build on and hope that makes people watch. But when you don't care, that's tough. That's really tough. I've heard that said too. The only thing worse than the cheering or the booing is if there's no reaction, and no reaction's far worse than booing. All right, so the upcoming Money in the Bank, and I always get a kick out of Money in the Bank, so I figured we'd talk about this now. We have four out of six named for both the men and the women. On the men's side, Solo Sikoa, cannot see him winning it. LA Knight, maybe, although is LA Knight championship material? I go back and forth on this. You guys can let me know your thoughts. Penta, I would love to see Penta win it, but it does feel like they're going to put him and Ray Phoenix together and put him in the tag division as the Lucha Bros again at some point. Seth Rollins, I don't think Seth Rollins wins it. He's had it before. I'm not sure that it advances any storylines if Seth Rollins wins it, because we know he's going for the title anyways. I always like it when they give the title to somebody who's not necessarily in the title picture at the time, and you kind of raise your eyebrow and go, well, that's interesting. That's the reaction you should have, rather than, oh, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense because they're already kind of in a feud, so now, yeah, the Money in the Bank briefcase. The one speculation that's out there, too, is that whoever wins here might cash in during this tag match down here, and if that's the case, Seth Rollins could be the guy, but we shall see. 4 of the 6 women named as well. Alexa Bliss. I don't think Alexa Bliss wins it. Roxanne Perez absolutely should. I'm just going to say Roxanne Perez as Miss Money in the Bank. Yeah, I could see that. Rhea Ripley. I can't see Rhea Ripley for the same reasons I mentioned with Seth. Rhea doesn't need the belt, need the briefcase. Julia, though. So you have Julia and Roxanne Perez both in this. Julia as the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. That could be interesting. Personally, I prefer to see Stephanie Vaquer if she came up and ended up in this, but I mean, Stephanie Vaquer is going to get there eventually anyways. Like I said, it's better if it goes to somebody that's a little bit unexpected, or somebody the fans can really get behind, that hopefully hasn't been champion before. I think that Money in the Bank, I would be fine with them creating a 1 year where the stipulation is you cannot have been WWE or world champion before if you're going to be in the Money in the Bank. It has to be somebody brand new who's never won the title before. I think that would be fun. They don't have to do it every year. Just be fun for 1 year if they did that. John Cena and Logan Paul against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Would I be surprised if anybody cashes in on Jey Uso after this match? Not really. The speculation that Travis Scott might get involved in this, or that Travis Scott's coming back at all, I don't understand why. I don't. And here's the thing, like, it's not oh, it's because he's a celebrity. It's just, it's such a disjointed storyline that there's months in between any kind of interaction. So if he's gonna have some interaction with Cody Rhodes and cost them the match or whatever, all right, but like, how many months are we gonna have this going on, and him just showing up? Like, this would be what, since January, be the 3rd time he's been in. It's not enough. It's not enough. And the John Cena heel turn, in my opinion, is a complete and total disaster. That's just my opinion, because I don't buy it. And I think when he came out and he said he's going to ruin wrestling, I think that set the bar way up here. I was like, I'm really interested to see what he's going to do. That could be interesting. Is he going to destroy the belt? Is he going to bring back the spinner? Is he going to have no music? Is he going to have no t-shirts with logos on them or slogans or anything? Nope. If he's going to ruin wrestling, it's not the way he's doing it. It's just it. I don't know. And he's coming across as goofy in some of the interactions too. So there's that. Like when Cody came back this week, and the shocked look on Cena's face, and I'm like, you're not a real heel. The women's Intercontinental title match, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch, the feud that just keeps going. They're trying to get Lyra over as, you know, a pretty big deal, and putting her in a feud with Becky should work. I'm starting to think with Becky Lynch, like, I don't know why she's not in the stable with Seth and, you know, with the Paul Heyman group. I think that would work. But another idea I had last night was, you know, her promo against Lyra, and I'm like, you know, there's something missing here. What if you put Becky and Charlotte back together? Like, I know they don't like each other in real life, and I know that's highly unlikely, but what if they did that? What if they put Becky and Charlotte together, since both of them have a reputation for coming back and going to the main event and just getting whatever the hell they want? I think you could have a two-woman power trip. Looking back far enough, you can remember Triple H and Steve Austin when they were going to be the two-man power trip. And yeah, I think that could work. I think that could work. It was just a thought I had last night. So if anybody from WWE sees this and steals it, all right, cool. One thing I did want to talk about here, and I've wondered about this. So when WWE is on regular TV, I'm far more likely to tune in. Saturday night's main event was on regular TV. So what was happening was that during commercials during the hockey game or in between periods of the hockey game, I'd go over and I'd watch parts of Saturday night's main event, see what was going on. But when it's on Netflix, I'm not going to be going and flipping back and forth. So either I have Netflix on my computer while I'm watching a hockey game, which I don't want to do at this point in the playoffs. The games are far too important. I don't want to miss anything. During the regular season, if there's only a couple of games on, especially if it's near the end of the season or near the start, it doesn't really matter. There's nothing of huge importance that's necessarily happening that night. But apparently viewership's dropping for WWE on Netflix. It was up a little bit in the U.S. this week, but it was down globally overall, and it's down to a low that they've sort of found for themselves. I'm not overly surprised. I think Netflix, the first time out, it felt like that was a big event. It was a big draw, and since then, it just hasn't been as good. The shows, I don't know if this is TKO. I'm not sure what it is, but it does kind of feel like everything sort of blends together. There are storylines that I like that are going on right now. Although the Liv Morgan thing, first off, Liv Morgan's ring gear has become absolutely ridiculous. At this point, can I call it lingerie? I'm not even sure if it qualifies. It's just this week was especially like, that's ring gear? Really? That's ring gear. Okay, whatever. But at any rate, Liv coming back and the whole thing with her and Roxanne, I kind of feel like, didn't we just watch this with Rhea and Liv? So the only way that I think this works, personally, would be if Rhea and Liv became a tag team or something along those lines. And they both, humiliated Dominic or something along those lines. I don't buy the whole Roxanne thing though either with Dominic, and I don't think Roxanne needs it. I don't think Roxanne Perez needs a romance storyline for herself. I don't remember anything like that on NXT over the years. I think she does perfectly fine, but at any rate, I would have kept her tag partner around too, but they fired her, so I guess Cora Jade. I would have kept Cora Jade around. I would have brought them both up together and had them as a tag team and just, as shift disturbers, so to speak. Not using the other word because, it's not a big deal, but either way. When you train yourself not to swear during YouTube videos, you got to stay on that. But at any rate, I think WWE's doing a pretty good job right now. I would say 50% of what's on there, I'm like, I'm dialed in. This makes a lot of sense. The other 50%, not as much. AEW, there's stops and starts there. The upcoming Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm, I really hope Mercedes doesn't win it. I get the feeling she might. She makes a ton of money, so that income alone might mean that they decide to put the title on her. I'd actually rather that didn't happen and give Jamie Hayter back the title. And I'm not sure what they're doing with Jamie at this point. Kind of feels like they've taken what Jamie was when she was over as a badass and kind of annihilated it. But either way, we'll see if anybody can get that personality, that whole aura back. I would think it'd be Jamie Hayter. And so we'll see what happens with AEW at All In. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.